When I first started talking about money on this channel, I genuinely did not think that anyone would watch. I am not a financial advisor. I do not have $1 million portfolio. And I'm literally right now in the trenches trying to figure this out in real time. And I thought, who would want to watch me as I'm trying to catch up? And it turns out a lot of you do. So let me tell you where this started and what originally changed my mind. So when I started to do YouTube full time in February, I honestly was posting content for solopreneurs, service providers, and content creators. So my content was focused strictly on digital products, automation, and AI. And during that time, I sprinkled a little bit of content about my journey and what I was doing in real time. So I would share about me paying off my debt. I would share about me starting to invest at the age of 44. I would share how I was trying to save for an emergency fund. And I would share about my credit score and all of these things that were a part of my financial journey. And what I noticed was people started to tune in to those videos a lot more, but I could tell you that I did have imposter syndrome because in the beginning I was like, I don't know if people would watch this and if they would trust this type of content because I'm not an expert. I don't have some type of credential. I'm not a financial advisor and I don't have some huge $1 million portfolio where I can share about how I built my wealth. I'm starting from this point. And so I did know that there were going to be some backlash into sharing my journey. I expected to get negative comments, which I did. And in the beginning, I allowed a few comments because there weren't a lot. But those few comments telling me that I had no business talking about money, I'm the blind leading the blind, I realized, you know what? This is what I feel God has called me to do. This is what I feel in my heart that I want to share. And I did not allow that to stop me. I just kept posting and I kept sharing. And sooner than later, I realized, wow, this is what my audience wants to see. And it felt great knowing that other people were on a similar journey. And it also felt great to know that there were people who were behind me, meaning that they haven't started this journey yet, but they can learn from my mistakes. And so that was a truly, truly good blessing. And as I started to create more of the videos, I realized, you know what? I can't allow the negative comments keep me from doing the thing that I feel like I'm being pulled to do. And then something amazing happened. You know, I started to notice like for every 2 or 3 negative comments, I would have like 10, 20 positive comments. I started to read these comments and I started to see people truly be able to relate to me. People sharing that they were excited to see someone actually sharing the behind the scenes, someone who is sharing it at a place as a beginner and not necessarily as an expert. And then I started to realize that people who are in the same boat as me, if you are over the age of 40 and you are starting over in life, you have a career pivot or a life pivot, you're going through a divorce or you're moving to a different location, whatever that may be, people want to learn, or some people would like to learn from others who are in the trenches with them. Not everybody wants to learn from a guru right away. I think it's a beautiful thing when we can learn from each other, when we are in similar journeys, going through it at the same time. And all you need is someone who's a little bit further than you to learn from them. And I love that. I love learning from people who are right now on the same journey as me and they're just a little bit further along because I think that that information is fresh, number one, top of mind, and they remember how it feels like to be at the bottom. And so I started to feel more confident in my decision to sticking with the financial content. You know, in the beginning, I have to admit, like it's very scary because you are being transparent and you're putting all your information out there. And I've never been someone who likes to share like how much I make or like anything about money. I had to really change my mindset when it comes to that and my mindset and my relationship with money. Because at the end of the day, it's a resource, right? And you can make it, you can lose it. And I don't want my life to be defined by it, but I want to use it as a tool, not only to help me plan ahead and secure my future, but to help others do the same as well. So there came a point where I had to be comfortable with being transparent about my journey and the numbers and where I'm at. And the moment I was able to do that, I feel like the shame and, the guilt of starting later, it kind of just like fell away because I realized that, you know what, this is real life. it is what it is. And this is the part where is more exciting for me because I know when I reach my goal, I have documented the entire process, and that process can be a roadmap for someone else. So the journey became less about me and more about the community and all of us who are on a similar path. How can we get to the next phase in life where we are proud of getting started at this point and being able to reach our goals, even when we have only 20 or 30 years to catch up? And I'm referring to investing, saving up for retirement. And as I started to share more and more videos of my financial journey, I realized that the audience wanted more content when it came to investing as well as saving up for retirement. You'd be surprised about how many people are probably watching this video right now who are ashamed that they haven't planned ahead. And life happens. And that's the thing that I think some people who have it all together, great. Maybe you learned financial literacy early. And I learned that in my situation, I grew up in a upper middle class household, but money was not a topic. We all made money. We all have college education. We all did all the right things, but it was still a mindset where you go to school, you go to work, you make money, you save. And the saving was never strategic, like put your money in the stock market, put your money in a high yield savings account. There was never a deeper conversation. It was just make sure you save. And so I realized that let's break that generational, I guess, I don't want to use the term curse, but like in a way, I feel like it's one of those things where I want to be that change where we have these conversations because it's very important. I know for if I decide to have children or for my nieces or anyone who comes behind me, I want them to have that education to know that there is a way to do it where you can still do it small, but be consistent in it, where by the time you hit my age, you have something. So anyways, I don't want to go on a tangent because I was just kind of lost my train of thought. But I want to say, with all that being said, it was great to see that I started to build an audience, not in spite of me not knowing, but because I did not know everything. I started to build a community to say, oh, wow, she's building this thing in real time. I love this. I want to tune in because I'm on a similar path. And so for me, that was the joy of really me embarking on this 200-day challenge, is me kind of figuring out my lane and like finding joy in that process as I'm going along that journey. So here's what I really want you to take from this if you are in a similar position. I know the past few days, my videos have been more about more reflection because I believe that as I am slowing down and I have about 4 more days in this challenge, I really want to give to the person who is watching this video, who's in a similar position, who is thinking about starting maybe a YouTube channel, maybe it's a podcast, maybe you want to write a book, maybe you want to coach and consult or just help other people build a community. I want you to understand that each and every one of us, we have value. We all have value to give. We all have special gifts and talents. We all have a purpose. And it's really up to you to find what that is. But once you understand what your why is, then I think it's very important for you to be comfortable enough in it to know that you don't have to be a guru yet in order to share your experience. And I think for me, being a professional for so many years, I always thought that I have my background in teaching and education. I have certifications, I have credentials. I'm a certified life coach and business coach and certified and licensed teacher. You know, the way I used to think is you got to have the education in order to back what you teach. But as I'm going through this journey and as I'm learning, I'm realizing that in the day and age that we live right now, people want real. People want real and raw. And that real and rawness comes from being present in the now. And what are you doing right now? And sometimes just sharing what's going on in your life right now is enough for the next person who's on a similar path, but you're a few steps ahead of them. So I want to implore you to really figure out the thing that is feeding your soul, the thing that you know that you are passionate about, that you can talk about, and just go for it. There are going to be times where it's crickets. I'm not going to lie. In the beginning, there's not going to be a lot of people tuning in, but I see a lot of people keeping themselves from going live or even writing their book or even sharing their experience because they feel like nobody cares. Trust me, there is someone out there who cares. And you have to be confident enough to just put yourself out there and to be vulnerable to say, you know what, even if I help one person, that is one life that you can change. You don't need hundreds, you don't need thousands, you don't need tens of thousands or millions, you just need one. And so A lot of people out there are not looking for a guru. They're looking for someone who is actually in the trenches with them. So I want you to keep that in mind the next time you doubt yourself about sharing your journey. All in all, as I close, I just want to say this final thought. Do not let anyone keep you from reaching your goals. Don't let negative comments, don't let trolls, don't let people who disagree with the way you are doing things keep you from reaching your goals. I think that's very important for me to say as well, because I'm not used to negativity. I have always had a positive brand as a motivational speaker, and especially with me creating a lot of faith content throughout that time. So I'm not used to getting negativity. This new niche, it's expected. And you have to build that mental strength, and you have to be so confident in who God has called you to be, to where you allow those to just fall off your shoulders. There's been a couple videos where I have addressed these things, and I do think it's important. I like that I can use some of these negative moments into a teaching moment and share it with my audience, because I know that there is someone out there who would shy away from moving forward once they see that negative comment, or maybe there's a couple negative comments. And I know creators who have done that. They've literally pulled videos down and shied away from doing certain things because they got like a few negative comments. That will never be me. I will never stop doing what God has called me to do because someone else doesn't like it. So I hope that this video encourages that person. If you are over 40, you are starting over, and you are on a journey where you want to document your process, that you just go for it. I think that documenting it is not just for the person that is going to learn from you, but it's for yourself too. Because I think it's important for us to be able to have, I guess, some type of like trail where we can look back and say, wow, look at what God did. Look at what he allowed me to do. Look at the blessings that I've been able to achieve in my life because I stuck with this one goal. So I feel like that for me is important. All right. Well, if you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you. My name is Dupe Alaru, and this was your Daily Dose with Dupe. Wow, y'all, we are almost about to wrap up this series, at least the daily videos. Friday will be my final day, posting every day. I have come to the point where I realize definitely I'm going to slow down, and you're still going to get weekly content from me, but it would be more so once or twice a week, which is going to be great for me because this has been an insane 6 months of posting a daily video every day. So I just want to say, if you want to keep up with everything that I'm doing about building wealth after 40, I would love to invite you to join my free community on School. It's called Building Wealth After 40. So go ahead and click the link in my description. Come on over. We are really celebrating one another, and we are sharing our goals, and we are documenting our journey in real time and asking questions and supporting in any way. Those in the community are, some people are my clients where they are building multiple income streams. Some are just in the community to learn and grow from one another. So you're definitely invited. If this is you, we would love to have you in there. Until next time, I want to wish each and every one of you a beautiful and blessed day.